Hey, Robin here. Welcome to Brokenomics. The Polkadot Parachain auctions are at full blast, and Acala and Moonbeam are going head to head in a massive battle. This first week of slot auctions is coming to an end, maybe a bit more than a day, and it's going to be interesting who is going to be the winner of the first Parachain slot auctions. However, what we all might wonder if you participated or whether you still want to back one of these projects is what can I expect from my rewards? And in this video, I will dive deep into it. But first, from Brokenomics, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has subscribed to our channel. We reached the 5K subscribers mark yesterday. And that's not all. We also reached 2K Telegram group members this week, where in our Telegram group we drop a lot of alpha and you have direct access to us, can ask us any questions. So thank you for that. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, consider subscribing, click the bell notification. It's like 1 second's work, and you stay up to date on our newest content. And without you guys, this isn't possible. So please support our channel. Let's go to the 10K. So Polkadot, let's go. So I've been thinking about various ways to look at what we could expect from rewards. And I will try to keep it very simple so that you can do it yourself. The site I'm going to use here is called Parachains Info, and it has all the data and information. It's tracking these Parachain slot auctions, which is quite nice. As you can see, Moonbeam and Acala are going head to head. Moonbeam in a slight lead here, right? But that doesn't mean anything yet, because if you remember from previous videos how the slot auction works, within a week's period or 5 days out of a week's period, there will be a random block selected, and whoever wins in that period will win the slot auctions. And you can actually see it down here, right? So the slot auction started here at the 11th, and then there 2 days after that the bid starts. So in this period till the end, and you see we're not there yet, a random point will be selected, and whoever had the highest backing will win. So it's clearly going to be Moonbeam or Acala, and it's very close actually, you know, in this entire period. It's just that Moonbeam took over here in the end, I think. Acala has been ahead a few times, etc. So going back here, what it will tell us is you get 1 or more glimmer tokens for Moonbeam when you back Moonbeam for 1 dot invested. And if you go to the Moonbeam site, there's a calculator. I will leave a link below in the description. So let's say you invested 1 dot. It will tell you that this 3.15 or 47 is your rewards. So you can just calculate. I mean, obviously, when you invest 10 dot, it's 31, right? So you know that at this point, with the backing that is currently standing, you will get around a little bit more than 3 glimmer tokens, right? And this website has a very nice drop-down menu here where you can see, okay, how much is invested, 31 million dots. And the calculation on Moonbeam website is very similar to what we see here. So we can also go with this graph here. If there's more investment, it goes down, right? So that's something to keep in mind, that more backing will mean you might get less tokens. And the same is for Acala. For Acala at this point, you get a bit more, well, almost 5.5 token. And if there's more backing, it goes down. So that's what we know. So let's have a look at Moonbeam, right? We know 3.15 are the tokens you will get for 1 dot. And if we would calculate what that means, dot is worth $40 at the moment. So let's do rough estimate of $40 divided by 3.15, right? So basically, if you participate in a crowd loan, you're kind of saying my dot is worth a Glimmer token, which is $12.69, right? So this is what we think it would be worth. All right, so we know one Moonbeam token might be worth a bit more than $12 participating here. What would that mean in terms of valuation? And what we do know is that Moonbeam, if we look at their allocation, token allocation, have 1 billion tokens. Obviously, these won't be in circulation from the start, right? So you have to understand what will be more or less in circulation from the start and where there's some pre-sales that get unlocked. Well, there was one pre-sale that we have to keep in mind. They call it a community event, where people got the tokens for 25 cents each. So that's quite a big difference from the $12. So we might expect some of the sell pressure there. But what do we think might circulating supply be? If we look at the release schedule, we can see that there is a period where the parachain has to basically be prepared and tokens has to be bonded. And I think that from this point onwards, we will reach around the 20% of circulating supply. I think that's a fair estimate. And if we look at what Moonriver did on Kusama, it confirms that. We have a market cap there of 832 million and a fully diluted market cap of 3.5 billion, which is around 23%. So around the 20% mark, I think, is reasonably to expect to be in circulating supply. Well, if we know that there's 1 billion tokens, if we take 20% of that, we will reach 200 million. And if that 200 million is worth $12.69, we would be looking at a 2.5 billion market cap. Is that realistic? I would say yes, because that's 3x from what Moonriver is. And obviously, if we expect the Moonbeam network with the Glimmer token to be bigger than the Canary network on Kusama, the Moonriver token on Kusama. So I do think it is realistic. The question is, how much further can it go, right? How much upside is there? Well, we do know it probably will start around this market cap. Moonbeam has quite a potential of attracting liquidity, I think. If we look at the contributions that were made into Moonbeam, it's almost double that of Acala, which just indicates there are more participants. So it's more popular. So there is some upside. I think a good indication gives us the kind of total market cap of Polkadot, because if Polkadot has a market cap of 42 billion, right, is it realistic that Moonbeam could kind of grab a lot of that market share? It might actually, because obviously in the beginning there will only be a few parachains on Polkadot, so it might definitely gain market share, and potentially it will increase DOT's market share as well. So I think it's, there's not a lot to expect there. I wouldn't expect a 10x, right? I wouldn't expect it to go to an easy 25 billion, but I do think that the rewards that you get from the Moonbeam crowd loan, is something to be okay with. Also, because you will get your DOT back in 2 years, right? And if this market cap is growing because there's more utility on the Polkadot network, there are more parachains added, and the ecosystem is growing, your locked away DOT might even increase as well in the next 2 years. We don't exactly know the market conditions in the next 2 years, so it's a bit of a gamble, but this is the way I would be looking at it. And for Acala, we can do a very similar thing. We know that you get a bit more than 3 Acala. The indication here is 5.43. So if we take 5.43, so we know that an ACA is worth 737 if we participate in the crowd loan, right? And if we take that number and we look at what is circulating supply, we know that Acala also has 1 billion tokens, right? And it's there's zero inflation. Looking at what Karura did on the Kusama network, we can see that the market cap there is 115 million, fully diluted 632. So this is a ratio of 20% as well. So I would just assume that even though Acala hasn't released the exact release schedule, we might be going with the 20% circulating supply as well. Already we can see that Acala has a smaller market cap on the Kusama network with Karura compared to Moon River, right? So what we're kind of saying is if the 20% is in circulating supply, which would be the 200 million tokens, times the price, if you remember, was around 7.5, we will be looking at a 1.5 billion market cap, which is a 10x from more than a 10x from what we have now. So the question is, will it reach, will it hold those numbers, right? And an argument for it is that the Acala DeFi hub is something quite revolutionary, and also they have some partners there. So there is a lot of more focus, I think, into the Acala DeFi hub than there is on the Karura one, because there's so many other DeFi applications currently that you could use. So with the adoption of Polkadot, that might grow, but I think it will be a slower start. So for that reason, and also for the reason that Moonbeam has more contributions, I would expect more upside potential for Moonbeam in terms of market cap in the short term. I do think, though, in the long term, Acala could become really, really big, because if DeFi is going to move over to Polkadot, then that's going to have a massive influx of numbers. But yeah, that's a way how to look at those rewards, and you could do it for any of those. And obviously, if you have rewards from either referrals or I will leave some links below, or via the exchanges like Binance and stuff, you might be looking at a bit more for your DOT contribution, but it's only a few percent. But this will give you a good indication what we can expect. I think the market caps will be doable. They can hold, especially for Moonbeam. I'm a little bit less convinced on Acala in the short term. The good thing, though, for Acala is I believe there was no real pre-sale, so there might be a little bit less sell pressure, although there will be a demand for the Glimmer token from Moonbeam. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with the valuations here? Do you think it's too much? Do you think it's a good idea to still participate in the crowd loans? I mean, some of the strategies were to wait to see how much was raised and based on that decide, because if you are after a lot of tokens to receive, there is obviously a lot invested in both of these projects, right? So let me know in the comments. Hope you liked it. See you in the next one.